Good evening, model railroaders, and welcome back to the Second Section podcast, where it's just regular folks talking about model railroading. I'm your host, Andy Dorsch, and joining me tonight in the studio is Mike. I'm looking for something Ostertag. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I was putting, where the hell is my camera? There it is. I was putting that away.
Ooh,
I was actually putting something away, which never happens.
Very interesting.
I like this stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever used this stuff?
No, I've never used Mark Fit. I've used Tamiya.
I have the Strong also.
Thin cement.
Yeah, this is for decal setting.
It looks like a. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is decal setting solution.
Yeah. That's what that is. So I have 3 different decal setting solutions. Because I don't know. I can't find the right flavor, I guess. I have the Walther Solva set, I got Microsol, and then I got VMS. You know, the old VMS stuff here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. VMS. I don't know.
But anyways,
what else do I have in there? I've got a bunch of stuff, and I probably have stuff that I.
Would you say you would have a plethora?
A plethora, a veritable cavalcade. Yeah.
Well, it's good to be back amongst friends in the section crew this evening. So as we digress from the talk about decal solutions, we got a pretty interesting show tonight. We're going to be.
We think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, right. We think it's going to be interesting. Not sure. I'm pretty sure. I think a lot of modelers are going to get some good ideas and some good inspiration from tonight's show. And then we're gonna talk about we're gonna do a little hashtag not sponsored tonight, and then we're also gonna be doing the people that emailed in their entries for the Second Section podcast group build, the weathering build. We got a bunch of photos from our fans that entered, so we're going to be going through those via email tonight, and then hopefully for the next brew with the crew, inviting them on the show to talk about their artwork that they've done. So yeah,
and we might have an announcement. We have a future announcement for the future build. We're going to talk about that. Right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about another. Yeah, we're going to do another one. It was so popular and so much fun. We're gonna talk about doing that as well. So some of you may have tried to tune in tonight for Ken McCory. Unfortunately, Ken had to cancel because he had some storm damage last week that is kind of hanging over, and there's a lot of people going through that right now in the central part of the United States. So be safe out there with the tornadoes and the severe storms and the flooding that are out there. So we want you to all be safe, but also having fun watching the Second Section podcast. So, Mike, the last show we had on Steve from trainwaybills.com, and there was a comment from the show I wanted to talk about. You had gone somewhere, possibly to the great city of Minneapolis, and the comment was, "Hey, Mike went somewhere. You guys should talk about where Mike went on the show." So I'm going to put Mike on the spot, and I know
there's no spot with this, man. I could talk for the next 2 hours about what happened there.
Yeah, so Mike, you were at the what is that thing called that they do there? The Twin Cities
Division
Model Railroad Extravaganza,
Modelers Retreat. Modelers Retreat.
Ah, yes, the Modelers Retreat. So
yeah,
you attend this event almost annually, do you not?
Yes. I do everything I can to try to get to it. It's not big by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we're talking maybe 100 people show up. I mean, but
Really?
the camaraderie and the level of modeling and just the overall vibe of being able to go and talk with other modelers, and face to face and see what they've been doing. I I tell you what, I learned so much this time, and I really, really happy I went. There were friend of the show, Luke Lemons. He was,
Oh yeah.
and him and his son were there. Oh geez, Ken Zeska and Tom Gazier from the Crossing Crossing Gate podcast were there.
Podcast.
Yeah, they were. It's one of those shows that they want everybody to come from all over the place, but it's small enough. But it's small enough to be a 1-day show. It's really kind of a 2-day thing, but it ends up, the main show is on Saturday, but the setup is like Friday evening. So, and Friday evening is when there's a lot of fun that goes on in Friday evenings. There's a lot of
yes.
A lot of people getting to see each other for the first time in a long time. And I mean, there were some. Yeah, there we go. There's my.
So I went out to your Facebook group for the Farland Terminal. So I'm out at Mike's Farland Terminal Facebook group, and you can see he's got the cup back there. So you had a display.
I did, yeah, and that's
the show.
I did, and that's a bunch of S-scale stuff that I brought, and then and things that I'm working on, and I do have my. If you look there, I have my HO Skill advertisement for my boxcar that I had done by Home Shops.
For Home Shops,
yeah.
So let's take a look. So you brought. What did y'all bring with you? So you have some
right there, those are all 3D prints. They're basically all, for the most part, they're just junk right now because they've been exposed to so much UV light that I need to reprint them. They were just
a little warped
to show what's going on.
So what's maybe to, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be annoying with questions because
that's fine.
I generally want to know. So what's the deal? They've been hit with UV light. What does that mean? So when you do 3D printing, something happens to the 3D prints?
Yeah, the resin continues to cure, and after it gets hit by so much UV light, it becomes brittle and it gets. So that's why it's best to, once it's actually cured initially, it's really good to get like a coat of primer on them, something that's going to block the resin from getting hit directly with UV light, so it doesn't like start to disform or things like that. And plus, not only that, but the type of resin really matters. And so this is a new resin that I had been using, and I really like it, but I have learned that I don't necessarily need to go with this resin in order to get the results that I'm looking for. So I may be going with a little bit less expensive option. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes more expensive isn't always better sometimes.
So now the far thing on the left, that's what is this torture device that you have there? What is that?
Yeah.
Is that the greasy meat hand grinder?
Yeah, that's it.
What is that?
That's what happens to guys and people that get kicked out of the chat. They have to go through that device. Yeah. I can actually get it out and show it here for a second if you want to if you indulge me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll indulge. So this is interesting.
It's handy that I had it right behind me.
Yeah. It's an interesting little tool. I saw it in St. Louis, and I had so many questions as to what it is. But Michael bring it up here. If there's, it's really it's really good. Tony, tell me about it. It allows it to get cured all the way and not get any additional shrinkage. And we don't want shrinkage. That's bad. If Seinfeld has taught me anything, you don't want the shrinkage. That's for sure. But Mike, this is the model that you have there. Is that your GP38?
Which one is
that you're working on there?
Which one's that?
The models that you have 3D printed there that are still
on
in
the
left in the supports.
On the left is a GP38-2. In the center is an MP15AC, and on the right is a GP15-1.
Very cool.
Mopac version. Mopac version.
Ooh. Thomas Austin, if you're listening, that's right up your alley. The Mopac Screaming Eagle. So did you find what you're looking for?
Yeah, it was in a different box. No, he's got to find all this stuff.
Wonderful.
You really put me on the spot here this time. That's really kind of cool.
I am.
I like that.
I am.
That's all right. There's the stuff I need to show you. And then hopefully these will work. And hopefully I can find the... Oh, there they are. Okay, so when it comes to... Don't pay attention to...
Yeah, don't look at the man behind the curtain. Just pay attention to the different comments that I'm bringing up here about shrinkage.
I'm not paying about shrinkage. Yeah. Well, that's a show for a different evening. That might be an after.
Yeah, maybe brew with the crew.
Brew with the crew type of thing. All right, so one of the things that I
got you on the big screen, Mike.
Oh, good God. Should I try the second camera thing?
Yeah, do it. Let's do it.
Let's see if I can. Let me see if I can try the second camera. If it works, camera. Go into this. Hey, holy crap, it worked. Look at that. All right. So
this is the best.
Things one of the things with the MP15AC, and
yes,
I've got it right here, is the radiator. And it's the same with the GP15-1, right? So in S scale, there is no off the market easy solution to this, to being able to get the corrugations that you need here, right? So one of the things I started thinking
corrugations for the radiator screens?
Corrugation for the radiator screen. So one of the things I was thinking of is, I wonder what would happen if I took a set of gears and ran it between the sets of gears, between the teeth. So just to try it. So this big one is actually 1 7/8 inches in diameter. And this was a mistake. This was actually printed. It actually printed pretty decent. This was this is the first one I did. And this was a mistake because I didn't realize, I thought it was, I don't know what I was thinking, but when I printed it, I'm like, nope, this isn't it. It was way too big. However, it has come out where there's going to be some functionality and usefulness for this, because I found out that one of the things that you can do with that is, if you had some solid metal material of some sort, you could make some really nice, this is what comes out of it.
Oh, so it kinks real nice.
It kinks real good. You could make some really nice roofing material with this. With that one.
Yeah.
Or like fencing or something along those lines. So I'll show you real quick what I have. starting at a 1/2 inch, I go up every 1/8 of an inch, all the way to an inch. And then that's what I end up doing. And I found this screen material. And man, I hate you so much for putting me on the spot like this. You should have told me you were going to do this, because I have the screen material right here.
I had no idea. I thought this would be a really good thing to just talk about you going to the show, and now it's just blossomed into what medieval thing did Mike make that we're now possibly looking at on his workbench.
So I found 304. It's 8-inch. It's 11.8 inches long by 30 inches in length. And it's basically 304 mesh little holes per inch. And it's see-through. And it's just metal screening material. And as you can see here, you can see through it. You know, you can see see my finger through it. So what happens is I could put them between these gears and create the corrugation for whatever size I'm looking for the radiators or whatever else I'm looking to do. So I'll show you here right quick. I'll try to zoom in, see if it'll let me zoom in. Zoom.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
I can see your fingernails really good.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go.
So
you're welcome.
Let me see. All right. So now we're gonna go with the 7/8 inch, because these are, I guessed when I put these dowels together and everything. So these are like, if you look, these are loose and stuff, but these are kind of a little closer and tighter. So it works really well when you do it tighter. Like, it should be, the gears should be touching each other on the inside when you do this. That gives you a really crisp.
Should mesh.
They should mesh. Yeah, they give you a really, really good, crisp corrugation. And yes, there is something like it wants to crawl up and things like that. But for the time being, this is just for purposes. Just put it in there, get it so that it sits on in between there. And then you just you push and twist each one. And when it comes out, you have a corrugation. And when you go to look at it, I know it's not quite, it's supposed to go on the inside, but when you go and look at it on the locomotive.
Yeah, look at that. That is pretty.
You
awesome.
Still have your see-through corrugation that you need
for the radiator.
For the radiators, yeah. And there's different sizes and stuff like that. So that's what that medieval contraption is. So that's that. I have not decided what I'm going to do with this yet. I had several guys at the show suggest that I should sell this, and I'm like, well, we'll see, but anyway, that's what that was at the show. So
that's awesome. That's a neat little invention, Mike.
Thank you.
So yeah, and then Jeff Thornton has a good comment. He says, in gears they talk about tooth count, or talk about tooth count. Does tooth count matter in corrugation?
I would imagine, yeah, because if you're going to want, you would want your tooth count, depending on how tight of a corrugation you're looking to get, is going to matter. Okay, we're going to do this experiment again. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let's see if we can get back. Wow.
You're back.
Okay, so with tooth count, your tooth count matters because of the fact that the broader the number of teeth, the fewer teeth you have, the fewer corrugations you're going to have, right? And so
you'd think, right?
The smaller, and plus the smaller the gear is, you can only get so many teeth around a gear. and then there's a wear factor too. Whereas your material that you're trying to run through it may not actually take. It might just go through rather than be able to be corrugated because the material might be too thick. So
yeah,
it may not allow the teeth to stay close together and create the corrugation. So it really will depend on what you're doing. But yeah, and I made these on a oh geez Luis, it's a website specifically for making gears. I cannot remember the name of the site, but I'll have to look that up and see if I can find it. But it was very simple to do, and it was it was a lot of fun, and I was very excited when I got it to work. So
no, it was pretty clever. That's for sure. So then so we talked about your models there, and then so let's just walk through some of the other things you had on display.
Yeah, I brought a bunch of
you've done.
The stuff from the left. I have a good Green Bay and Western boxcar I made. A pre-sized bulkhead, center beam flat. My Clemmy Co-op grain car, which has been documented over and over again. It's that one was scratch built for the most part. Let's see here. Then I've got a car that hasn't really been out and about in public too much. That is a former Marinette Tomahawk and Western boxcar that the Anapian Western had in the 1990s. And so I wanted to do one of those, and yeah, no Soo line, no, not yet. So so there, that was what that is. And then the gondola was the very first kit I've ever did in S scale. And it's a nice kit. I could look at that gun and see so many things I've done wrong. that, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things. You ever do that, Andy, where you go and you look at your stuff? Or any of you guys out there too? In the section crew, have you ever gone and looked at something that you did maybe 10 years ago, and you look at something you did now, and you're like, what was I even thinking? It's not bad, but I never realized how important gloss coating was for decaling. That's got quite a bit of the haze, decal haze to it, and stuff. But I mean, it's
silvering.
The silvering, yep. It's doing. It's a car that I may redo, or I might just weather the heck out of it and just do it and leave it like that. And then the Farmarco car is the car that I recently completed. That one I documented on my Farland Terminal page, and I believe on the second section page also. And that is one of Ben Truesdale's Ben Central Pullman Standard 4750 cars. Those are really nice 3D printed kits. And now they're available through 3D Central. So I don't know why I always wanted a Farmarco car. It's just one of those. You ever have that where you have a car and you're like, I just want one of those for no reason whatsoever. I just want one. You ever have one of those?
Boy. No.
Really?
No, that's a lie. Yeah, I'm lying to you. I think for me it was always one of those covered hoppers with the co-op, like the COOP.
Oh yeah,
blue, white stencil. I've always wanted one of those, and I know know that, they're out there and available, but I can't seem to find them as of late.
Yeah, that's one of those, things where I'm glad I did it. I don't want to do another one. I have other projects I want to get done. Um, but
Right.
it's just one of those things where I feel accomplished. I had to actually use like a combination of like 2 or 3 different decal sets to get everything squared away, but they were it turned out really, really good. And then on the right side there, that's my Farland terminal boxcar and S scale, and then the little Home Shops ad for the HO scale version of the car, which are still some available. So,
oh wow.
And then behind that are my locomotives, my GP20 Milwaukee Road, Jeep 20, and then my Farland Avenue, that's my road, Farland Terminal, switch engine and caboose that I've recently finished. And then behind that are 2 fertilizer covered hoppers that I've got been working on and need to get done. So
yeah. So we got a question here from Jeff Thornton again.
Yeah.
He's asking about the 3D printed models. Are you going to use American models drivetrains for your Jeeps?
Well, yes and no. I tear the guts out of them.
Okay.
And then because the motors that are in there are monstrous, and so I want more room, and for what I do with them, I get just as much power out of a proto power motor or an A-line motor, and I'll put an A-line motor so it creates more room. But then for the most part, I'll kind of put the gearing in, and if I can't, then I go to HO gearing, and I'll use some Athearn gears or Atlas or whatever I can get my hands on to create the gearing and haven't had any problems so far. So
yeah, that's your stuff runs really well too.
Thank you.
From what I've seen in your videos, it always seems to run really smooth. So you must.
Well, I recently put a Keep Alive in the switch engine, so because I have several places. I have several places that want to short out on my. I know where they are, and if I want to run, I don't want to be messing with the shorts all the time. So, I just put a Keep Alive in there.
Yeah.
I cheated, so that's fine. I'm not afraid.
And that's the way to go. So what else did you do? So let's talk. We saw the models there, 100 folks, camaraderie. What did you do whilst you were there?
Talked a lot with, I got to get his name right. Jeff Crocker is his name. Okay. He has an awesome ON3 or ON30, ON3, I believe it is. Like logging style layout, and he's 3D printed everything. He has Shea locomotives that he has 3D printed. Everything on it is 3D printed except for the wheel treads and some metallic brass or like some brass rod in certain spots for the pistons and stuff like that. Otherwise, everything from the gears to just literally the frame and everything was 3D printed, and they're absolutely gorgeous. We got to get him on one of these days. That's a name to write down.
Okay. So, we'll talk about that. I'll get my notebook out here and we'll write some names down.
So other than that, they had a handful of clinics that were, they're all right. They're not bad. They're clinics. I don't do well in clinics. I want to go out and mingle.
I know. I've sat next to you in a couple of clinics.
Listen. All right, that was not me. That was 100% you and a handful of other guys.
Whoa.
Luke and I were sitting quietly being good little church boys. That's it. We were, doing nothing wrong whatsoever. So yeah, no. But seriously, we had some clinics. There were, there's Minneapolis, St. Paul. You can't go in that area without doing some rail fanning. And that entire Twin Cities area is so jam packed with good locations to go. I was fortunate enough to be able to go over and see William Sampson Sr.'s layout. I was able to go over.
A great modern.
Yeah, I finally got over there and saw that, and that is a really interesting
70s.
Layout. 70s, yeah, and
there it is. Yeah, yeah.
I got to be the new voiceover for that. That's what I.
Yeah.
So,
but William took, about that.
Yeah, William took a handful of us over to his dad's house, and we went and saw that, and it was really, really cool. It was just we hung out with Bob Rivard, which is a must when you're over in the Twin Cities. You got to go and talk with Bob Rivard, and that is a rabbit hole all onto itself. That is there is no 2-minute conversation with that man. There is none.
Yeah,
love that guy to death. Holy cow! But Crocker. Yeah, Crocker. Yeah, you got that right, Jeff Thornton. You got that right. But yeah, went and hung out there, had some couple of meals, and hightailed it back home. That was it. That was the whole weekend, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It's not expensive. I think it was I want to say it was $20 or $15 or $20, something like that. It might have been 20. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Bob's on tonight.
Bob, I tell you what, you're like one of the highlights of going to the Twin Cities. It was that's what we did. So Luke, as for anyone that doesn't know, go to Luke Lemon's Sioux Second sub page. We'll put a little thing in the notes, and go check out his weed sprayer. The weed sprayer, the weed sprayer made it over to Bob's house, and it was a lot of fun to watch that thing go around Bob's layout. It was interesting. That thing's been on several layouts now. He wants to ship it to people to have it on their layouts, but he's got to figure out how he's going to do it yet so that it doesn't get wrecked.
Without destroying everything.
Because the weed sprayer, the box car alone is, I don't know how many countless hours he has in that thing, and it is absolutely a work of art. He actually had it down at Cocoa Beach. He took it to Cocoa Beach with him, down to the RPM down there. So it's that's what we were doing over at it.
You guys were having funny times with the weed sprayer, weren't you?
We were having. That's an awesome picture. Yeah, that weed sprayer. Luke actually made me a Habco t-shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm supposed to be in charge when it's on his layout. I'm supposed to be in charge of the weed sprayer. So it's if he decides to run it. So it's just interesting. So he made me a shirt that says Habco on it. It's kind of funny. So But yeah, overall, I tell you what, if you're in the Twin Cities area, I believe. Let me take a look at the Magic calendar here. I think I put next year's on there again for anybody that's interested in it. No, I did not. It should be, though. I want to say it's the 14th and 15th this year. So next year it should be right around the 13th and 14th of March. And you won't be disappointed. I suggest you get over there and you bring something to show. They want people to bring things to show. That's it.
I think I'm going to threaten to go there next year. So I did my civic, or not my civic duty, my Model Railroad Club here in Ripon. We had an open house that weekend, so it kind of competed against that. But we have enough members now where I think I might be able to get away for a weekend. So I might stow away next time that you go, because I'd really like to not only take some of my stuff to bring on and put on display, but I do want to get over there and hang out with the folks over there that put that on, and because I've gotten to hang out with them a little bit at St. Louis and other little odds and ends interactions here and there, but yeah, I'd really like to spend some quality time with some folks from the Twin Cities for sure.
4 hours and 20 minutes is a lot better than 8.5 for a
8 hours. Yeah.
Not saying
St. Louis, Minneapolis.
Yeah, St. Louis is awesome. So that's all there is to. Oh, and on top of all of that, on Friday morning, I left at like 3:00 in the morning, and I drove out to Glencoe, Minnesota, and I shot the last 2 CF7s that are on the Twin Cities and Western. They're in storage, but I shot them nonetheless. Then I went and I circled down to New Ulm and shot the 2 Sioux Line GP9s that are sitting in a grain elevator there. And then I went back up and I circled up to the Scale Model Supply, I believe is the name of the
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I met Luke Lemons and his son Owen there. I met them there, and that's that was that, and I ended up putting, by the time I got home, I put on 873 miles on my truck in a day and a half or 2 days.
Well, that's not too bad. It's one of the shorter. I mean, it's closer than a beer run you went on.
Yeah, I got to do that again too. I gotta get that. Might be new truck material though if I get a new truck. So I mean,
right.
So yeah, it was a great weekend. Highly suggest everybody come out there, and we'll be talking more about it when the time gets closer. So
awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, Mike. I know a lot of people wanted to, hear about your exploits around the model railroad show circuit. And so it was good. So all right, so we're gonna take our first commercial break here. We're gonna cue up the Greasy Meat Hands band. They're gonna play us off for a second here and introduce our next segment. All right, section crew, that sweet little guitar riff and the picture of Scott Thornton on there talking about Iowa Skilled Engineering stuff means it's time for #NotSponsored. It's where Mike and I and our other guests that are on the show talk about the different products and things. We love things here at the second section out in the model railroading world that get our attention. So Mike,
do
you have anything in the hopper for #NotSponsored this evening?
I do. I have one thing. I do. I have one thing, and it's a recent find. And it's layout related, but not scale related. How's that? How do you like that? So,
all right.
Let's see if I can find. I'm going to do my thing.
Color me intrigued.
Hold on a second. We're going to do this share screen thingy, and we're going to go here and right here. So I've been struggling with the lighting on my layout. I've been, it's pretty well documented on my Facebook, on the Farland Terminal Facebook page, and I think I put it on here several times. Oh yeah, nice. So I can't remember who gave me the suggestion, but they suggested looking these up, and these are Barina light LED shop lights. And you can butt these up against each other. They're in right those little sockets right there. It comes with male female sockets, so you can go and butt each end or each one of them up to each other to make it like a daisy chain of one continuous LED light. And I'm telling you, these things for the price, I paid, like it says here, 6 of them were $80 for a pack of 6.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
they're 4-footers?
For 4-footers, yeah. And it comes with mine came with 6 individual outlet plugs that have a snap-on, like an on-off switch on it. It also came with 6 different connector sockets, 6 hardwire sockets or to plug in here, and then the clips and screws to go and mount all of this stuff. And so I went and I bought these, and holy cow, is it ever made a big difference in how I my layout looks. It is so bright. I'm going to try to get to my Facebook page here.
I was going to say, I think you should show us a picture of that. So I have these as aisle lights in my basement, or a version of them. And I've had these for 3-4 years now, 4 years, and they are still going strong. So and they're really good.
So here's what I was trying to do with my lighting. I was trying to use some LED strips. See this thing in there? You see how bleh that looks? That's all it looks like. It looks, somebody said it looks like a cloudy day. Yeah, it did. It was it just meh. It just didn't. Nothing popped. The colors were not really great at all. So then I went from that to the new lighting, and now my lighting looks like with the Barina lights. That's what they look like. That's only 3 of them. And the lights are tucked up underneath my valance in the front here, pointing towards the backdrop.
Yeah, so you got a nice shadow box effect. So we got some questions.
Yeah, so I mean,
Ron Stanek.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
So are they dimmable?
No. Not that I know of. No.
Okay. Steve from Train Waybills. From our last show, what color did you get? Are they cold white, warm white?
They are daylight white. Is what they are. Yep, 5,000 K.
And then Dan LeDuc asks, are they flexible? Or are they just
Nope. They're rigid. They're rigid. They're on a 4. I could show you one. I have 3 extras. So, but they have a rigid aluminum back to it. It's like an aluminum bar that the LEDs are all mounted to. So no, you can't bend them. I'm not going to say you can. I probably wouldn't, but that's not that I can see that they're not bendable at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're the how many can you put together? Is it 6? Can you put all 6 in a string?
Yeah. As many
without
as you want.
burning your house down?
As far as I can tell, as many as you want. It doesn't say to not use too many.
Yeah.
They're designed to link together. They're actually designed for shop lights. So I mean, imagine if you had a 30-foot shop. If you had a 30-foot long shop, you're going to need 6, 7, 8, and 10 of them. Because
I got 4 there, and then I got 2 over what used to be the iron mine in the other room. So I got 6 of them strung together, and touch wood, they haven't gotten too excited in terms of hot. They don't run hot.
Yeah. And then on top of all of that, I went and I got to see if I have a picture of it, just because I want to make sure. Oh, yep, sure do. I went and I linked them all. I went and I linked them all onto one of these. So what this is it's first, these are, if you have a Menards, I don't know if Menards.com will ship these all over the place. I'm not sure how that their shipping on online orders works. But if you got a Menards around you, I use these, and it's a remote. So now I actually have my my power supply for the layout itself is on one of these outlets, and then the lighting is on a separate outlet. And you can see these 3 right at the very bottom. You see these 3 little dashes. That's outlet. That's outlet number 3. So on the remote, there's a 1, a 2, and a 3. So the power supply for my layout is on number 1, and it's just an on button and an off button. I hit the on button, the layout comes on. I hit the on button for number 2, the lighting comes on. Just that simple. And this was $17.
Mike Shanky says you stole the idea from him.
Oh, whatever. I may have, but I may have. I don't know. I can't remember. All I remember is walking through Minnesota. I'm like, hey, that looks cool. So
there you go. Pick it up.
Yep. So it's that's what I've been working on, actually. So there's my hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah.
Layout lighting.
Awesome. So I got a few
awesome
that I wanted to talk about this evening. The first one, and I have to bring this up because I am a tangent scale models fanboy, and these Southern Railway cabooses.
Yeah,
these things are just real good looking. And I'm not a Southern modeler or an NS modeler, but
I just listened to Ray the Around the Layout podcast episode where they had what's his name? I can't remember his name, but they had him from Tangent on talking about these.
David Leilbach.
Yes. And I tell you what, these were a labor of love for him. These were huge.
Really?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, there's no stone was left unturned with these.
I mean, the Chicago Northwestern and the Rock Island UP ones that I have are incredible.
Yeah.
And just not only the level of detail, they're, they got the lighting in it. the lighting effects, and they're just really cool. And I don't know, like this setup that he has here with the Southern and the Chicago Northwestern ICC ones and the Rock Island ones. I'm just thinking the Thrall, the Milwaukee Road and Chicago Northwestern Thralls just have to be right around the corner. Have to be.
Yeah, I mean, is Tangent becoming the caboose guru of model railroading?
I don't know, but they are, in my opinion, the best.
They are so nice looking. I mean, they are gorgeous, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
don't forget the chassis system ones. Yep. Yeah, chassis
system there. No, Andy, you're right. 100%. Yep. So
100%. Hey, did you know that the Chicago Northwestern ones, if I'm right, there was an order of... No, they aren't the international ones. They didn't do the internationals, did they?
They're the Thrall ones.
Yeah, they're the Thrall ones.
The Milwaukee Road tied on to the order.
Yeah, they're different. They're completely different, but the Green Band Western had two of them that were on the back end of the C&W order. They're exactly the same as the Northwestern cabooses. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep. Green Band Western. Yeah. So that means our buddy Paul's going to have to buy a handful of them now.
There you go. That's right. Mr. Belmore. Yeah. So the second one that I have tonight is and you guys may have heard about these guys on Ray Arnott's podcast Around the Layout as well, but I just bought, I'm going to share my screen here. Maybe I just bought some stuff from Oak Hill Track Supply Company. So I don't know if you guys out there are familiar with Oak Hill, but these are super high detailed turnout and crossing kits. And I've been looking for something to take my track work to the next level. And I've been using a combination of Fast Tracks and Micro Engineering stuffs. But they don't have the bolt detail. They don't have the frogs. So if you go out here to their Roadmaster series, you can see you can actually buy the individual frogs for them. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the construction, and that I don't have to do any of the milling at all with these.
Really?
So so like the points are already pre-milled. So all I have to do is basically take it out of the package and glue it together. It's got photo etch detail for all of the tie plates and clips, and then 3D printed throw bars. Because like the throw bars, right? Like if you make a Fast Tracks one, you can obviously replace them, but when you're using PC board ties, right, they're pretty chunky in there, and I'm really going for that high level of fidelity in the track work, right? Yeah. And Andy Gerber, that is Jeff Otto's company. So the Roadmaster turnouts are really cool. They got the laser cut tie strips, but it's just, for me, one of the things that I hate about doing Fast Tracks, and don't get me wrong, Fast Tracks is a great product, but I'd rather spend my time actually putting the turnout together as opposed to doing all the milling. Like here, I can just buy a turnout and put it together. I don't need to get a file, all the fixtures and all that stuff, and away I go. And so for me, it gets me more into modeling and less into machining, which is kind of, what I'm looking for. So these I'm super stoked about, and I'm actually going to be doing a video, kind of like a how-to video, little mini review on my personal YouTube channel, under Andy Dorsch, on putting these together, and I'll give you basically a little critique or a review on what I think of them and how they all go together. So look for that coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
I wish I could get that to work because I use Code 83, right?
Yeah.
So Code 83 is Code 83. It doesn't matter what scale it is. Code 83 track is Code 83 track. It doesn't matter. It just depends on, all the thing that it does is it changes the weight of the rail depending on the scale. So like Code 83 and S scale comes out to about 90-pound rail. So, I think it's, what is it, like 115 or 120-pound rail in HO scale or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. But so I wish I could get those to work, because I'd use that also. I could use that big time. I just wish I could get it to work on in the S scale world. I should see. I mean, it's a lot to have to try to. I should see if there's a workaround on that. Because I know one thing is I did buy one of I did buy a frog at from him at the show in Naperville at the Chicagoland RPM.
Yeah,
just to try, and the flanges aren't deep enough. For the scale wheel sets, they're not deep enough for S scale wheel sets.
For HO? Oh, for HO.
No, for my S scale stuff, they're not deep enough. They're good. They're fine for HO, but they're not deep enough for S. They ride up a little bit, and then you don't want that to happen. So, but I should try finding out from him if there's a workaround or something I could try to do. So.
Yeah. Maybe we have him on the show here to talk about his product as well. I think, or at the very least, I'll have that video put together here shortly.
Yeah.
So I'm super geeked out about these. These are really cool, and I know he's been around for a while, but I've never gotten around to try it. And really excited.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
So I have one last Holschbach, he says I can show you how to fix the flangeway. So
all right,
we'll have to get Shooter over for a bit of machining. But okay, so this is more of maybe a public service announcement than a hashtag not sponsored. So I'm going to put myself up on the big board here. So I am admittedly a member of the Chicago Northwestern Historical Society. Okay. And I just have to give them a quick shout out. The publication that they've been putting together for the last 2 months, it's the Northwestern Lines. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, White River Productions puts this together for them. It looks that way. Yep. Or at least I think they still do. But long story short, they've been doing an expose on my favorite locomotive, which is the Fairbanks Morris H16-66s. And these are the ugliest diesel engines on the face of were on the face of the planet. And they were used all over the Northwestern. But the real call to action here is not to go and sign up for the Northwestern Historical Society, which you all should. But the point that I want to make is to let me get Mike back up on screen here. Oh, well, let me exit solo layout, Mike. What's going on? There we go. But it's to get out and support your favorite railroad's historical society. Even like the Colorado Model Railroad museum. They're out there essentially, storing keeping the hobby going, keeping the history alive for a lot of these railroads. So that's my, I guess, public service announcement. I know, Mike, you're a member of a few historical societies. You also have publications.
Yeah, I do. You're forcing me to open this now.
That's what we do. We get you to motivate.
The Milwaukee Road Historical Association. This is turning into a plug for historical societies here. Oh, look at this. Mechanical Reefers, the 9800 series mechanical. Oh, this looks like a good issue. Well, anyway, Milwaukee Road Historical Association has been around forever. Also, I'm actually the superintendent for a specific division of that historical association, from North Milwaukee all the way up to Ontonagon, Michigan, the old Superior Division, also known as the 5th Sub, also known as the original Milwaukee Northern. Milwaukee and Northern.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah.
That was really seamless.
Yeah, right. You like that? So
I do.
Yeah, I belong to the Milwaukee Road Historical Association. I'm part of the Missouri Pacific Historical Society. I'm part of the Copper Range Historical Society. And this hurts a lot to have to admit this. And
oh no, you're not one of the. You're part of the Sioux line, aren't you?
I am publicly making it known.
Hold on.
I don't do that.
Now you're on the big screen.
I am.
You say it.
I am a member of the Sioux Line Historical.
Paying member?
I am a paid member. And here is my proof that's in the pudding. Here is my membership card for this year. I also am the owner of the, I got to pull this up now that we're talking about it. Let's see.
Nothing is bad about the Sioux line.
No, nothing is bad about it. It's one of those things where if you know about the history between the Milwaukee Road and the Sioux line, it's one of those things that I just do. Let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. I am also the owner of this this fine page.
What Mike, I've known you for years and I'm just finding
I am also the creator and owner of this Sioux Line Lake States Green Bay sub that specifically goes between January 1st of 1986 to October 10th of 1987. And the reason is it stops at October 10th is because on October 11th, the Wisconsin Central became the owner of the entire thing. So this documents the time between the Milwaukee Road merger and the Wisconsin Central on the same portion of the Superior Division and on the all of the Lake State, the Green Bay sub, specifically the Green Bay sub. So that's, yeah, I know. It's
Mike Shanky wasn't even born.
And I went to Minnesota to photograph Sioux Line engines. My God, what is wrong with me? But I will say this much: there are some really sharp looking. I mean, check that out. That's actually a pretty slick photo.
Yeah, it is.
There's like this.
Otis is upset.
Elkhart Lake right here. This is a iconic little grain elevator. I think this is like a little coffee shop and stuff like that. This is a really cute little area right here. The depots would be like right where where this picture is standing. And this is just an absolutely iconic little Milwaukee Road Sioux line type thing. But one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be writing a couple of articles here coming up that
nice.
Luke is really pushing me to do this, and I think it's good because a lot of times the Sioux Line Historical Society, the one flaw with it is the fact that when they bought the Milwaukee Road, everybody doesn't want to talk about anything after that time period. You know what I mean? Because the original Sioux Line was, and it was 1986, January 1st, 1986. So after that, but what's being missed is they had all sorts of colorful locomotive lash-ups. They had all sorts of lease power that they were buying other people's power. I mean, there was so many cool things from the post-merger era that isn't documented really. And so and then in the Lake States. And I wanted to do a little bit more on how the Sioux Line affected the Green Bay line after the merger compared to when it was the Milwaukee Road. And so that's
it is the Sioux Line is a cool railroad for as much.
It is a cool railroad as much as I
as I do, and I give Mike about the Milwaukee Road and all that. It's for us Wisconsin Midwestern types, it's basically Ford, Chevy, Dodge, right? My railroad's better than your. Well, anyhow, but anyways, getting back to the point. I mean, it's like the up north Wisconsin and up in upper Michigan and the Sioux Line up there, is it like Mellon and in the Indian Head part of Wisconsin, some cool coverage of that. And
there may be in the works. Sure. There may be in the works. It's just in the preliminary talking points right now, but there may be in the future a Wisconsin Central Limited Historical Society. It's been 24 years since the Wisconsin Central Limited was bought by the CN. So I think it's time that a historical society gets created specifically for those people who want to document just the Wisconsin Central Limited, not the Sioux Lines Wisconsin Central, not the Sioux Lines Wisconsin Central. That's part of the Sioux Society. This is Ed Burkhart's Wisconsin Central Limited. But we're in preliminary talks with it. We know we know that there's a lot of interest in it. It's just a matter of how to get it going with 501c3 and stuff like that. That's all there is to it. So, but and it's already been discussed with other people. So, but anyway, that's that. Get out and join a historical society. That's it. I guess that's the bottom line. Get out and join the historical society. You got nothing but good information to gain, and you never know who you're going to meet. You might end up meeting somebody that has got information that you've been looking for years and years and years. And
that's how Mike and I really met. I was asking about some Milwaukee Road stuff, and it was on a Facebook page for the Historical Society or Historical Association.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. All right.
That was an emotional hashtag not sponsored. Wow. I mean, even Otis, I apologize to the section crew upstairs. He's
all upset about me being part of the Sioux Line too. That's what it is.
If you hear his howling, it almost sounds like Sioux Line. Maybe he's actually a Sioux Line fan.
Oh,
so that's what you get when you have a bloodhound.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So let's get into the main topic tonight. So you said you had things to talk about this evening. The model railroad projects that we can do in a night.
Yeah.
That the rainy day It's a crappy Saturday. The rain's falling down. Don't want to go outside.
Summertime's here. Summertime's here. Coming up. Spring, summer. Everybody's going to be getting out of their basements, getting to the honeydew list that's been piling up all winter long. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Kind of one of those type of deals where it's like, okay, now all of a sudden Mother Nature decides, guess what? We're gonna dump a bunch of rain on you because you had all these plans to do this yard work, and so now you got to stay in the house, right? You know, so things that you could possibly get done.
Nothing on TV.
Nothing you want to watch.
Maybe second section. Yeah, maybe second section.
Maybe,
maybe. But even that gets boring after a while, right?
Right. I mean, come on. Yeah. So, but it's one of those deals where, you sit there and you look at it, and it might be something that you've been putting off for a little while, or something that you're not quite sure of how to approach, and so you can sit down and take a look at it and say, well, I'm going to take a look at this and I'm going to try something here and get it done in a night, or a couple of hours even. And some of it's commercial, some of it's not, some of it's just simple. Like I said, that lighting that I did, I put those 3 bar lights up in less than half an hour.
There you go.
Yeah. So honestly, I mean, it's things like that you can do. Some of the things. Oh, go ahead.
So let's unpack that a little bit. So what inspired you to just, I guess, for lack of a better term, get her done?
I kept looking at it, and I'm like, I'm at the point with those 3 sections that I was on that part of the layout that I wanted my valance taken care of. And I came up with a really cool way of doing that. And I should actually do a little video on how I did that because I use ceiling tile, inexpensive. That whole valance cost me under $25 for all 3 sections. It was under $25.
It's a clever way to keep dust off the layout too.
Yeah, and I'll paint it light blue, or I'll paint it sky blue, so that it's a sky blue on the backdrop and sky blue above it, so that way it's not just reflecting white all the time. I just got tired of the way the layout looked, and I wanted something new. And I had the valance up, but it had a shelf. And then I talking with Luke, and like Luke says, well, you know what a shelf is? Just another place to put more crap. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to have a shelf up there. What I need is less crap. So if I don't have the shelf, then I don't have to have that. Then I don't have a place to put stuff that forces me to put it either where it's supposed to be or get rid of it altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did that valance. I think the valance itself took me few hours. It once I figured out how I wanted to do it and how I was going to measure things and make sure everything was level, it really turned out better than I had expected. It really did. So I'm very, very happy with that. So I mean, there you had lighting and a little and a valance all in one night.
Yeah, so that's a really a nice way to get a lot of. It's kind of a big bang for the buck, right? Because you're getting a lot of layout stuff done, and it's a big impact, right? So it's not like for example, you worked on, one of these little scale crossbucks, right? Which is another project that you could do in a night to get this set up and all weathered. But so you essentially a couple hours of work and you have a huge impact, and an upgrade on your layout.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the one thing I wanted to show I can't find because I don't know where the hell it went. Well, yeah, I have all the rest of them here. Of course. But they're not put together. It'll pop up.
So one of the so I have one. And it's just little buildings. So I have your model railroad is going to need a ton of these little detail buildings. So this is bring myself up on the solo here. This is a little kit, right? And it's just a storage shed. And I painted it all up and weathered it in one night.
Is that from
it is from Suparts. So what I did with this one is I primed it, and it was actually a hot summer night that I did this. Primed it, and then I sprayed it with chipping solution.
Yep.
And then I painted it white, and then I just used the a small brush that was wet in water to get some of these chipping effects.
That looks cool.
To make it look like the the paint's peeling off of it. And I got another one here. Let me grab this little guy here. Hopefully I don't crush it. Remember when we did the Bernard the home shops?
Yep.
The home shops mashup, right? Yep. So they did the ITLA and we did the little outhouse.
Yeah.
Right. So you can see he's got the roll of toilet paper in there. This was another little building that I did. I detailed the inside of it and painted
cool.
it. And then I installed back here. Can't see it for the microphone. This is a fun game. But I put a button on the fascia for the sounds of the outhouse. And that was so that has that Iowa scaled engineering soundbite in it. And that was a one night project where it's not much, but it's a cool little accent to the layout. And it's fun to do. It's fun to do because then you got a talking piece or some little thing to say to draw people's attention into the layout. So those are just some of the little bits that I've done. I don't have the layout powered up, Andy. Otherwise, I would. I'd bring up the flushing sounds of the of the outhouse.
Is it in here? What I'm looking for?
Can't know. I don't know.
No. Oh man. Now I can't find it. At the Twin Cities at the Mahler's Retreat, I got the coolest thing for $15. It was
nice.
Yeah, it'll be real nice if I could find a doggone thing so I could show you guys. It's an MP3 player. Yeah. It's all it is an MP3 player that you link to the to your layout, and it plays whatever sound you put into the SD card. So like I had planned on doing like making the sound like going and recording and it'll play it on a loop. So like going and recording the sounds of a grain elevator or a co-op, and putting those on, and then so that way when you're over by the co-op, it sounds like you're by the co-op, and it's just an MP3 player. And for the life of me, I can't remember what the heck I did with it. But anyway, if I find it, I'll show you guys. But it's one of the things that I've got also is pallets.
Oh yeah,
little pallets. These are from let's see here. These are rail scale models pallets, and there's just 48 by 48 laser cut pallets. Now obviously these are S scale, but these are really neat little sit down at the workbench. They're laser cut. It gives you all
all of the material that you need to create whatever, the cross members and the everything for the pallet. The only thing that these don't have are the side. They're not notched for the side to take them from the side. They're only only made so that they glue the 3 strips of wood on the one end and glue it on the top, and then that's it. But these are really cool little projects because you're going to need them for docks. You're going to need them for just having a pile behind an industry or by an industry, or, you could actually take them, believe it or not, you might want to take some of these and then wreck them, build them and then wreck them and then pile them up next to a dumpster someplace. I mean, how many times do we go by someplace and there's a bunch of beat up old pallets sitting there, right? So you could recreate making the old, your own old pallets, and that's, I kind of thought that was kind of neat. Let's see, what else do I got? You got something else?
Yeah, I do. So it's long. Yeah, burn barrels are burn barrel supplies too, right?
Oh yeah,
3 pallets. So here's another one, and again, this is, you may recognize this little fella.
Well,
this is an HO scale version of Ray Arnott.
Yeah,
and you could paint your mini prints. Is one of the things that we did on a rainy night. So all of the mini prints that we buy, right? A good thing to do is actually pull them out and start to paint them. And so, you can have your little Ray or your little mini me, or cows, other eagles, all sorts of stuff. Ray at the beach, Ray trackside. Put Ray tracks.
I want to see you. I want to see you paint Ray with a Hawaiian shirt. There's your challenge, dude. Ray with a Hawaiian.
I got
shirt.
A little mic too.
Yeah, I got a whole box of them right here.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little Mike and a little Andy, and then we'll all be
on, and we're all gonna be on top of a viaduct someplace arguing about the fact that there's no trains. That's what's going to happen, as Ray likes to keep bringing up. So
Kirkwood, we're going to have right behind me here. There's going to be a little mini Kirkwood.
Yeah, Kirkwood. So, here is that MP3 player.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a little MP3 player, and it's got the speaker and all the stuff that you need. And you just put your micro SD card in there, plug it in, and away you go. That's that. Hey, you know what? Here's another thing. Our buddies over at Iowa Scale Engineering, they've got that.
Yeah.
Their 3D printing grain belt models stuff, right? I highly suggest you guys pick up, like, this is like I don't know what you just say. It's a combination pack, maybe. It's all sorts of different sizes in here, of culverts, galvanized steel pipe. You could use these as for culverts. You could use them for flat car loads. You could use them for semi truck loads. You could use them for whatever you need a culvert or a galvanized pipe for. You could use these, but this is one of those things where just painting and weathering this is an evening's project, and you could come up with new and innovative ways to get these to work. You could actually make a street project scene on your layout to show that there's city workers actually doing a project and have these some of this stuff on the roadway, and then that gives you some opportunities to work on barricade lighting and other things like that. So, I mean, Iowa Scale Engineering, they've got some cool stuff. This is kind of a semi hashtag not sponsored, isn't it?
It is. It's turning into that, but I think that's maybe one of the things that we're kind of. The section crew is probably going to notice a theme coming up here in the next few months, right? So a lot of the stuff that we did our first group build, right? And we're going to build on that. I think Mike kind of alluded to an announcement at the end of the show talking about that.
Yep.
But I think what we're trying to promote here at the second section is we buy all these awesome things and then they just sit on our workbench. They sit in a blue tub. They sit on the layout in a box. And we need to get them out of the box. So, and it also, like, doing stuff on a rainy day like this, it helps you build momentum to a bigger project, right? So just these little, paint your mini prints, or like we did on the one show with William Sampson, right? Where we did on a show
with the car. With the cars.
We detailed a car.
Yeah.
And added some details and whether that rail mechanic, he hit it right on the head. The pile of shame.
Yeah, the pile of shame. Yeah. You got any more?
So yeah, I got
because I got one I got to go get.
Okay. Yeah.
I just happened to think of it.
Talk about one. Okay. That I must be really laggy tonight because I'm having difficulty with all the navigation here on StreamYard. So another thing, and it's not a fun thing to do, but it is something that you can do nonetheless, is it's clean your track. And I know a lot of people are like, oh God, why would I want to do that? Well, your track is gonna get dirty over time. Even if you use, fancy cleaning agents, stuff like that. And it's very easy. Like I got a 10-foot by 3-foot, or 10 foot by 1 foot, 5.5 shelf here that we have. And it's very easy for me to grab a piece of masonite and just kind of rub it over the top, and just kind of rub the gunk off of your track work. And it's something that in the long run, the half hour, 15 minutes you spend on it, it's going to result in hours of reliable operation for you. So, I know it's not a fun thing. It's not a fun modeling project like some of the things that we've discussed here, but cleaning your track is something. When it's raining, you don't feel like building a model. It's really easy to do. Just grab a piece of masonite or plywood and rub it on the rails and get that gunk off of it.
That's a good idea.
It's not a fun one, but yeah. But yeah, so what do you got, Mike?
So as model railroaders, one of the things that we do is we ignore the simple little things that make railroads what they are. And that's because everybody wants to get their layout up and looking operational and getting it thrown together. Shouldn't say thrown together, but they want to put, flex track in here and they want all this stuff. So the one thing that people forget is that when they're modeling, not everything is welded rail. Okay. So on my layout, I use code 83. Like I said before, right? And because I use code 83, that means code 83 is code 83. It doesn't matter if it's an HO scale detail part or an S scale detail part. The code of the rail is going to look the same no matter what, right? So I went and I bought some different types of angle bars because my rail is jointed rail. So Kaiser Valley Models makes these HO scale joint bars.
I love these things.
And so in an evening, all you do is snip them off, file the sides a little bit, figure out where you're going to put them, and put it on the track. You don't have to make the joint. You don't have to saw a line in there or anything like that. But if you're painting over that, or even if you do, you don't have to go way deep and then make all sorts of different things to it. You don't have to do anything to compromise or jeopardize the integrity of your operations or your layout. But you could go and make it flex track look like like jointed rail, real simple using these.
Yeah.
And here's the beautiful thing. Thinking. Just remember, you can only see one side of your rail. You don't have to put them on both sides. Just have to put them on the side that faces you. So
unless you suffer from an affliction like I do.
Yeah, if you suffer the Andy Dorsch, affliction, like so many of us do, you can put it on both sides. But in reality, you really just the side that faces you or the side that's going to be more seen. Now, sometimes right behind Andy there, behind your left shoulder, right where the junction, Pine River Junction is right there, where that track goes back to the right from the junction, it goes back around and curves off to the right. You're gonna see potentially both sides of the track. So you might want to put them on both sides. You just go ahead and figure out whatever it is that you want to do with these. They're not stick on. You got to glue them on. They're made out of copper, I believe. Is that correct? I believe these are copper. Something along those lines. But they're really
brass, right?
Is it brass?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, brass. Yeah. So, but these are really you get a ton of these. So if you break it down, they're not that expensive. This was $12.95. Yeah. I think this was $13 when I bought it, and I think this one was also $13. So you get a whole boatload of them, and that's a good evening project just to spruce up your track a little bit.
Yeah, and we can. I want to talk a little bit about the joint bars. So I've used the laser cut wood, and I've used the Kaiser Valley. And if I had to pick one, I would use the Photo Etch Kaiser Valley ones. They just have a little more detail than the wood laser cut. The wood laser cut are fine, but these ones, they just have a little more depth to them, and they fit in the web of the rail in a little better. Yeah, a whole section worth, Chris. You get a whole section worth of the joint bars.
Yeah.
So it's not back in the 70s joint bar where the doobie, the electric lettuce, or whatever you call it, right, Mike?
Joint. Jeez.
Not that kind of joint.
Anyway, yeah. So in all reality, it's a really easy, simple little project that'll really enhance. It's a little scene detail that one day it'll make you feel really, really good when somebody says, "I can't believe you have joint bars on your track." Just the fact that they noticed it'll make you feel really, really good, because that's job well done by you then, so
yeah.
What's your next one?
So I'm gonna put a prompt out to the section crew here. So if you guys have ideas for the one night stand, so to speak, right? The one night project, the simple model railroad project. Let's I join in its drug talk. I can't be surprised.
I tell you what, Nathan, dude, you're something else, buddy.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, so section crew, if you guys have an idea for a simple model railroad project that you can do in one night, let's throw them out in the chat and share with the rest of the section crew what your ideas are for the one night, the rainy day, build a layout in a day like Mike Schenke is proposing. Put your ideas into the chat there, and we'll chit chat about them.
Yeah.
So I love the joint bar one. I thought it was good. Oh, this is a good one. Paul Stamp and the Finger Lakes Railway.
Ooh, that's a really
painting
really
track.
Good.
Oh,
that's another
good
really
one
good
here.
one. That's a
Todd Ablett lumber loads. Anything loads for your flat cars. Yep. Tony Dixon, static grass. The pinch and stab method, right? That Boomers taught us so many times.
Yep.
Jeff Rich, trees. Yep. And then Steve from Train Waybills, he's right there. You can always make a bunch of trees in a day. So let's see.
Yep.
So how about a group outhouse build?
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
then
funny.
Switch stands.
Yep.
Those are some other good ones that you can do as well. So I think
signals.
Just to
got some signals that you need.
Signals. Yep. Exactly.
Clean off the
Silver
workbench.
Train. Clean off the workbench. That was the one I was going to end on. I know it's look at all these ideas coming in. Seen details around trackside industries. Add signs to buildings. Building my steel plate loads out of styrene. Replace couplers and wheel sets. Speed matching your fleet. Turn the light on in your layout room, look in, turn the light off, and go back upstairs shaking your head. I have a week off to clean up the mess.
Slater.
No, Mike.
Oh,
Mike Slater, come on now. Scrap loads. Garbage, trash, scrap.
Yeah.
Boy.
Here, look at that. Trash cans.
You got trash cans.
We got barrels. Tichy makes Tichy actually makes some really cool HO scale. They make them in all different scales. Their barrels are really, really well detailed too. The lids are really well done.
Yeah. Clean, organize, operate. Oh, so that's another. That's so.
Well, I was going to touch on that.
Otter Creek and Rio Grande. So hold on a second. Otter Creek and Rio Grande. Don't you have a premiere tonight coming up? I thought I saw on your YouTube channel you have a premiere for a new video coming out. Let us know in the chat if that's you. We should all go over there after the show here at I think it's 9 Central. Go check out that premiere. Yes, at 9. We should all go over there to Otter Creek and Rio Grande's channel and Crash's premiere. Let's do that. So we got 20 minutes.
All right, let's get this done.
Here.
All right. Talking about the clean, organize, operate. I wanted to touch on that for a second.
Yep.
Project planning.
Go
to the dollar store. Go to the dollar store. Get yourself some little containers like this, little shoebox containers. Get yourself that. Put your projects.
Now, this wasn't part. Buying stuff wasn't. Buying more stuff was not part of it.
Sure it is. Yeah, because then Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay. You never said it wasn't. So you go and you get these little containers, and then you can put your projects in them and keep all your projects in material that you're gathering for the project in one spot. So that way, hey, I'm at this point. I'm going to go grab this off the shelf. I'm going to work on this. Get done, put it back on the shelf. You keep on working on different projects, and you can keep everything organized and contained. This has to do with a future thing that Andy and I are going to talk about. So,
right, it's throwing your models on the floor. That's what we're going to be talking. So again, you'll start catching on to a theme as we roll into the spring and summer months here. But yeah, these are some really, really good ideas. Vacuum the layout.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. But those, I have a bunch of those Dollar Tree containers that I use for putting all of my projects in. I got like 6 of them just sitting back there that I need to get moving on. But
yeah, I got about 10 of them.
So I'm gonna bring something up on screen here. So this in the chat, I posted a link to Otter Creek and Rio Grande's premiere. It's at 8:55 Central Daylight Time. So in about 14 minutes, we'll make sure you guys head over there to his channel and check out the premiere that he's got going on tonight. The premieres are fun because you kind of get to just sit back and hang out as a group and kind of shoot the breeze while you get to watch video about model trains. So we're going to do that later tonight. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel, make sure, we're going to be, so one night going to be building something, the E-Dabbler Mill supply kit build. So be a good time. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is a rabbit hole. We could keep on going down for hours.
Yeah. So I think from my perspective, and it's one of the things that I've been doing a little bit more is coming down and sitting down and doing these little itty bitty projects. One, you get a little bit of an accomplishment, so you get that hit of dopamine, right?
Right.
It's like, yes, I did it, and then you get to essentially build your model railroad, because they're not built in a day, even though Mike Shanky thinks otherwise, right? Or is trying to prove us wrong. But again, it's a journey, right? And just these little itty bitty building blocks of doing these one night, one day projects, they're going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
And you actually get to build your models as opposed to just looking at them. Yeah. And a lot of folks like, Bill Kenkel, brings up a good point. 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
Just to move it along. I know, like, was it our friend Tom Jacobs, right?
Yep.
With the reading layout. He was on the show a long time ago. He does a little hashtag 1 hour a day on his Facebook group.
Yep.
And keeps his railroad moving right along. So,
and that 1 hour a day has turned into a hell of a layout. That's
yes, yeah, it has.
Layout is amazing. I've actually been there. It's an amazing layout. I can't believe. So happy he's gotten so much accomplished on that one. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's the reading. It's a cool, the Reading. It's a cool railroad. So
Reading.
Anyways, so I did want to tonight. I wanted to talk about one other thing before we make our major announcement. So if you haven't yet, you can, if you're still working on your second section podcast group build for the weathering, that's okay. We set a deadline for the 28th of March. And that's as kind of a cutoff point. Say, hey, let's see if we can't get something done by this time. But if you're still working on a car, that's no problem.
Yep.
we still have the group chat going on the Facebook group, so feel free to post your continued progress there, and still feel free to kind of use that group chat as a channel to talk about weathering with the other modelers that are engaged in there. So it's kind of a little, I guess, sub route of the main channel where we can kind of focus in and talk about a specific subject. So
yeah,
but I did want to show. So we did have a person. Oh heavens! We have two ways of doing this. So you can definitely post the pics to the Facebook group, Second Section Podcast at Facebook. Just answer the 3 questions. We'll let you in. You can post your progress there with the hashtag of SSP Group Build. And then we also can, if you're not into that, if you're not into Facebook, you don't want to be part of all that social media hoopla, we are taking entries in from our Gmail account. So you can send us your stuff to Second Section Podcast at gmail.com. And tonight I'm going to bring some pictures up from someone that just was trying this out and wanted to send the stuff our way. So give me a hot second here as we do hashtag not prepared, which is always a fun time.
we need
I tried the
Greasy Meat Hands band to have music put up for that. You know
what, hashtag not prepared.
Yeah.
Something's going on with my computer. I don't know if there's a virus scanner running, or maybe I have a virus now. I don't know. Something. There's a bit of shenanigans going on here. But let's see, in the new folder. So I think it's Alan Kroll. I got a few more things to do here on the group build. So I'll bring up his pictures here in just a second. I got to get the email up as well. Apologize for the delay, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. All right, so I know, right? I was trying to do this pre-show, but then I had all sorts of crud going on, and I apologize. Yep. I know. This guy's
somebody said for me to whistle something. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Here, see, look at it.
Right, here we go.
Here, he said whistle something, Mike. So I did.
All right.
Got her now?
All right. So let's see if, I don't know. We'll see if this works. It's not working. Here we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Andy's got problems with life, apparently. So, okay. So this is from Alan Kroll, Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. We'll get there eventually. So he's doing.
Here we go.
He's doing a Burlington Northern caboose, and so I'm gonna read the caption behind it. So let me see here. Let's see. All right. So this was my first weathering project. I decided to weather and modify a BN caboose, a ready-to-run caboose that I inherited. I decided to cover up the lower windows and simulate the FRA requirement for bulletproof windows that went into effect in 1984. I looked at several prototype photos and used many of Boomer's methods. I've attached the 2 before and the 2 after pictures. So I look forward to the challenge and look forward to each of your shows. Alan, so thank you for sending this in. So let's take a look here and see what else we got here. It looks like this might be one of the befores. Boy, if this guy knew how to work technology, huh?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And now here's the afters.
Oh, that's coming along nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was to share that, to let you know that yes, we do check our email here at Second Section. I do like what he's done with the windows there, especially with blocking out a few, and then some of the weathering here on the side panels is looking pretty good as well on the roof. Like this kind of
I like
where
how
it
that
runs out.
streak continues from the roof down the side of the car.
Yep.
It's one continuous. I like that. That looks really good.
Yeah, so you can see it's kind of as it's been going through, it started with this, and then, now we're here. So yeah, it's very good, very good. First attempt, and I think the more you do, the more awesome it's going to be. So keep it up, keep up the good work, Alan, and thank you for sharing. Excuse me, and thank you for sharing. So that being said, so we're back now. So keep sending those pics in, but we're going to make our announcement here.
Yeah.
So what's the announcement, Mike?
No, you tell me.
We only got 4 minutes. We got to hurry up so we can get over to Dennis's premiere.
So so are we going to announce the diorama thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So go ahead, announce the diorama. You mean the 12-inch by 12-inch diorama thing?
Yes.
Yeah, let's announce that. And then that way people will know that we're trying to announce a 12-inch by 12-inch diorama build for the next couple of months. And that it could be themed anything that they want. But it should be confined to a 12-inch by 12-inch like build, a 1 foot by 1 foot build thing, and it could be used for something on your layout or not.
Yeah. So so Mike basically spilled the beans, right? So our next group build, it's going to officially start tomorrow. So we're going to do a 12 inches by 12 inch, a square. So you know how Bernard's got the peanut butter jar build, right?
Yep.
We're going to do a little 1 foot by 1 foot diorama. It can be model railroad themed. It could be, try to make it model railroad themed, but it could have track running through it. It could just be, let's say, an outhouse out back with some bears, around it in the tall grass and trees. It can be this tall if you want it to be this tall, but it's got to be on the footprint of 1 foot by 1 foot, and it can be any scale. So it can be, HONTTSO, whatever your heart's delight. And we're going to run it for 2 months. So we'll come back and we'll showcase all of the progress on the group build in June, I believe 5th.
Yeah.
So it's up to your heart's desire. You can just go nuts and make a fun diorama, and we'll use the same hashtag SSP group build.
And one of the really important things to remember about this whole group build thing is this is an opportunity for you guys to get outside of your comfort zone a little bit. And if you haven't done scenery at all, here's a great opportunity to do a little play around with it and check out and test out how different theories work, what you like to do, what you don't like to do, and just go ahead and
do whatever it is that you need to, that you feel like doing. It might be something like a scene from a photograph that you've been inspired by. It could be something like a memory that you had when you were a kid. It could be anything. And you know, I really encourage you to like really pour your heart into it. And you know, these little mini dioramas are really exactly that. They're like Boomer always talks about the postage stamp scene, right? Well, this is exactly that. This is a postage stamp, the postage stamps diorama type build. And you know, so you know, I can't wait to see what guys come up with and what everybody comes up with. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
So if you guys have questions, hit us up at secondsectionpodcast@gmail.com. And Otter Creek and Rio Grande's premiere on his YouTube channel is going on right now. So I did post a link in there. We're going to wrap up in the next couple of minutes here tonight. So make sure after this, we all head over there and show some support for Otter Creek and Rio Grande. And some of turntable build that he's done are some of my favorite videos. So anyhow, and so that's what we're going to be doing here for the next few shows. We're going to be talking about that progress, answering questions, essentially just let's build something, right?
Yeah.
So are we going to announce anything else tonight? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no. Do you want to announce the other thing or no?
I don't know what the other thing is.
That locomotive thing? Or we want to wait with that?
The locomotive. Yeah, let's just hang on to that one.
Okay, we'll hang on to that. That's a teaser there. There's going to be a little teaser. So
yeah, we'll do that one on the next go round. But so hit us up. Facebook group, we're going to be out there. I think we're going to get a brew with the crew going here, maybe not this weekend, but maybe next weekend. Kind of hang out, and we'll have. I think I wanted to have Joe Bohannon on, talk about his build, and we're going to talk about some of the folks that have emailed their stuff in for the first group build, and then we'll start talking about that second one. So, anyways. Mike, anything else that we need to bring up before we over to Dennis's deal?
Nope, absolutely not. Thank you, everybody, for bringing it. You know, just find your little projects and you know, don't be afraid. Get them taken care of. Rainy days are perfect time to get stuff taken care of. Little one-day builds. You know, that's awesome. There's a ton of stuff out there. You know, and a lot of good suggestions.
Yeah,
lots of good ideas.
Yeah, so. I mean, lots of good suggestions. Lots of fun, you know, little projects that we can come up with, and we got some more to build too. I mean, what do we always say, Mike?
Just keep modeling.